sunny spring day. As I look around in the backyard today, it's, I suppose you could call this backyard bushcraft, but bushcraft is a loaded word now, full of misdirected concepts. For some it's trying to get as much shiny gear as others as possible. For others like me it's trying to be as simple as possible. The purpose of the video today, or the main part, when I get around to it, is a rather rash and brash statement I made the other day. Excuse me, just get my tea up. Pint of tea. The statement I said, a guy that's doing a series of films around the Scottish wilds was wondering if he needed a bigger Bergen. He's got a 120 litre Bergen. That's a lot of space. You don't actually need that amount of space. I made a rather brash and rash statement, as I said. I'm getting all your gear basically into a 45 litre sack, apart from one or two odd bits that has to hang out on the outside because there's just no room, literally. I mean, even on a sort of 75 litre bag it would be a lot of room to get in. I'll be coming to that in a minute. As I said, it was and I've got it, you can get a weekend's camping gear, but anyway, I trust you're all familiar with one of these. Okay, it's not exactly a bushcrafty thing, it's an e-reader. This is the Kindle Fire HD. Got a number of books on it, and I was looking at my YouTube vids, and I subscribed to Karamat, which is the Morse Kahansky site basically, and I've got his Northern Bushcraft, which deals basically with what we do in the setting of the boreal forest. You won't find any barrel cactuses in that. In fact, for most of us that live within the northern US, Europe, UK, Scandinavia, obviously Canada, it's a very practical book. In fact, I would even say it has the edge on Ray Mears' book. But Morse himself has produced a lot of his writings onto the e-book format. Bush arts, some leaflets he had on making things like netting, sharpening knives, cat tail dolls and what have you. And perusing through a lot of the e-books that you can get, there are a lot now that are either available for a very low price or no price at all. Books to deal with the outdoors life, everything from building a shelter or travelling in the 18th century right through to Food for Free, which is the seminal book on foraging, and many other foraging books. Anyway, I digress. In a second or two I'll be showing you, as I said, how to unload and load this pack, this amazing 45 litre backpack, which I've got a weekend's camping gear in. Not a lot's been going on in the bushcraft world that has, well, as far as I can see, hasn't been going on. I mean, there's been the usual grips and gripes about who's best in bushcraft, you know, or I've got this fantastic knife or that fantastic knife. And as you will see when I do this video, that it's not all about knives, it's not all about axes. It's far more simple, far more fundamental. I'm recording this on Thursday, the 2nd of May. Tomorrow I'm making my way up to the Lake District for a weekend with some guys at Woodsmoke, where basically it's the food week, the first of the food weekends basically. It's doing foraging, early spring foraging. I'm quite looking forward to it. I'm taking a few things up myself. I'm taking up some wild garlic pesto and a couple of other bits just to supplement what we gather. So there's not much been going on. I've been trying to arrange a weekend, and thanks to Gaz Weil, I might have a lead on finding a place to do that. It's not too far from where I live, and it's basically where the scouts camp, and I'm just going to ring up and find out a bit more about it in the next few days. So I've just been busy getting on with work, you know, by day and by my normal course of events. I'm a baker. Weekends I try to get out. I will be honest, over the last 18 months or so I've not gone out as much as I'd like to. I don't know, sometimes you get a wave of apathy come over you. You know, sometimes you wake up and you want to do something, but I don't know, there's always something there holding you back. It's like an invisible wall. But I'm working on fighting that down. So, without further ado, and I shall talk through the video, in the next scene you will see the rucksack packed up, and then I will unpack it, show you what's inside the rucksack, the reasons why I've chosen this piece of equipment rather than something else. And I hope it inspires, and I hope it actually gets some of you guys from not taking the kitchen sink out. That is half the problem. The bigger the bag, the more you want to fill it up. Sometimes it's wise just to step back and see what you're packing, and you question yourself why you're packing it. So catch you in the next scene, guys. No doubt I'll repeat some of what I've said. Well, there we go, guys. A little doggy down there sunning himself, but the main focus of this video, that is almost fully laden. The only thing that's not in there is actually the food for a weekend, and this kit, what you got here, would last you for a couple of weeks even. The only thing that would be taking up the space would be more fuel and more food. But then again, depending on what you're doing, you might be able to pick up food along the way. What else can I say? I haven't put food in there, so there's still plenty of space inside the actual rucksack itself. There are one or two things I haven't put in there, and I'll explain why later. Also, I haven't put in a change of clothing. Wet weather gear, well, I've got a few thoughts on that which I will come to later. Anyway, guys, and we shall follow on to the next part of the video where I will unpack this and lay it all out so you can see what I've got inside and what I carry on the outside. Right, there you go, guys. All that lot fits into the 45 litre bag without side pouches. And what have I got there? I've got along the back I've got my tarp, I've got lighting system, I've got head torch plus candle lantern. Next to that I've got a half litre bottle of meths. Next to that the cat hole kit. Next to that I've got my 2 1 litre water bottles plus a Crusader cup and the Osprey cup. Next to that I've got a millbank bag, and just behind the millbank bag is my first aid kit. If you come down one, in fact if you go down the right hand side from the millbank bag to the bottom, I've got a pocket knife, which is the it's a Swiss Army one. It's got a locking blade, and to my mind that's all you really need to take with you when you go camping. Whistle, 3 methods of lighting fires, which is a lighter, a fire flash and a match safe box as well. Below that is a saw and a throw. You notice there is no axe. To my mind, you do not need to take an axe with you. The saw and a throw will get you enough firewood if you're having a real fire. It's the same with the knife. You don't need the big bush knife a lot of the times. A folding pocket knife, whether it's the SAK Camper or this one, which I think is known as the Soldier in this country, will suffice. Next door to that, and on the line coming down from the water bottles, I've got the honey stove, which is a favourite stove of mine. You either like it or you hate it. And on top of that, the Trangia triangle. A triangle is there primarily so I can get a brew on the go almost straight away. Below that is the lid for the Crusader cup. Oh, next door to the cook set, you can just about see the spoon. It's aluminium aircraft grade quality alloy, very, very light. And next door to the Crusader cup lid is a pot grab. Below that's a bag to put the Crusader cup system in. If you swing to the left a little, going from the bottom up, you've got the hammock. Next to the hammock you've got the tree huggers. Above the hammock you've got a 12cm billy can. Within the billy can itself is the Trangia pot in a little container, and as above that there's the half-litre bottle. Moving to the left you've got a down sleeping bag, 3-season, though push you could probably use it in early winter as well. Next door to that in a little grey bag is a pegging out kit for the tarp, which is above it, and below there's sort of four fiberglass poles which slot into one another, so I'll get 2 poles to act as the spreadsheet for the bug netting on the travel hammock. And of course, underpinning all of that lot is the large ground sheet. If you swing over to the right hand side, on the far right by the flower pot, is the mat as well, which not only do I use it for the hammock to give a bit of body to the hammock, plus a little bit of under protection, because it's a 5-season mat, so it keeps the draft well off. It's great just for sitting on the ground with if the ground's a bit lumpy and bumpy. And as I say guys, all of that lot fits into that 45-litre Carrymore rucksack. It's the SF series and works very well. All I can say is all it requires is the addition of enough food for the weekend, but that is always down to you what you take, whether it's fresh food, dehydrated packs. I may do a video on food if there's any interest on it, on sort of foods to take out, because obviously there's always a bit of a debate on this. I like to cook some fresh veggies when I can, and you don't need a lot of gear. Going back to the cook system, I carry 2 because the Trangia burner is great for a quick setup, and while the water's brewing, I'm getting the camp ready, then I can set up the honey stove. Now I've got 2 configurations on the honey stove. I've got the honey stove itself, or the hive, which is the bigger version. The hive is primarily there for wood burning, and that's what I would have a tendency to do, hence the throw and the saw. The throw is far better at splitting wood than the axe in many cases. You've got the leverage at the top, and it's even better than using a bush knife, basically because you've got that leverage. And the saw. And there you go guys. I hope this video has proved of interest, and it would inspire you to look at your kit and lighten your load maybe, because if you're hiking, it's wise to carry as light a load as possible. This is only the basics. You can add to this if you're a photographer, obviously your camping gear, your camera equipment, or if you're bird watching, your binoculars. Fishing, I've got a lovely fold-away fishing kit indoors which will actually fit into this, and you can take that with you, maybe catch yourself a trout or a perch or something, have a bit of a cook up. Anyway, I'm just going to have a wander around the garden guys, see what edibles there are. Well, we had the lightweight kit section. Well, it's not exactly lightweight kit. Now we're going around the garden for wild edibles. And what have we got? We have got in the corner there goose grass, sticky woody, or whatever you like to call it. We come over and there's some hairy bittercress down there. May have some of that for my lunch. And of course, the ubiquitous, found everywhere, dandelions. You can make a salve out of the flowers, a marmalade out of the flowers, obviously the leaves into a salad, and the roots can be cooked over the fire to be eaten, high in starch, and of course baked in the oven, ground down to make an rucksack coffee. The only thing I will say is, because of little critters like him over in the corner, if it's below knee height you wash it thoroughly, but there's plenty of stuff to eat around here, and of course we keep the birdies well supplied with food as well. Well guys, there you go, and we'll catch you down the line. I'm away for the weekend. I'm going to go and enjoy myself processing small wild animals and eating seafood.